But really, it was close to as 170 miles of tasting experience that I had in this time. I was using that as recon and prep for this day where I'd get to toe the line again. I always going to be back.
Welcome to Flagstaff Bound, a special Cocodona 250 series brought to you by Distance to Empty and Aravaipa Running. I am Kevin Goldberg, host of the Distance to Empty podcast, where we dive deep into the world of 200-plus mile races, just like Cocodona 250. As always, I'm joined by everyone's favorite co-host, Peter Noyes, fresh off running the Arizona Monster 300 himself, and nevertheless all decked out in his Cocodona gear today. Today's guest is one of the most fun, honest, and inspiring voices in the ultra scene. Shelby, don't thank us for those kind words. That was ChatGPT. She's been around Cocodona since the beginning, all kinds of ways, raced it year one, and this year she's finally lining up to race it again herself. After coming back from a pretty major injury, building back from zero, she's assembled a powerhouse crew, and we're really excited to dive into it with her. Shelby, welcome to the show.
Thank you. ChatGPT is so smart. It even knew I was cheaper. I didn't know what to use it this morning, so it's right.
I love ChatGPT. They're so nice to our guests. We just don't have the vocabulary to be that nice. It's not that we're not that nice. So Shelby, after running Cocodona the inaugural year back in 2021, you've been part of Cocodona every year in some capacity. Now you're towing the line again. What does that feel like to be back on the other side of the experience this year?
There's a deep sense of gratitude. So I went into Cocodona the inaugural year 100 under my belt, a lot of soap, but not a lot of experience. I was then able to go back to Cocodona pace, participate on the live stream, work on the brand side of race sponsorship. But really, it was close to as 170 miles of tasting experience that I had in this time. I was using that as recon and prep for this day where I'd get to toe the line again. I always going to be back. So it feels pretty full circle to be back for the 5-year reunion. Now with 3 multi-day adventures under my belt and a really strong understanding of how deep I'll need to dig to be successful in this distance.
So last year, you literally hop-walked in with the final finisher as you were recovering, from your injury. At that moment, what was going through your brain? Did you already know that you would be towing the line this year, or kind of what was the journey to get to this point?
Honestly, I was like, gosh, I hope my husband wasn't seeing this on the live stream because he was so nervous about me being out there. It was the first week I was allowed off crutches. So it was my first week walking in a boot, which I decorated with like purple and cheetah. It was wild. So yeah, there was some of that of being like, oh man, people are going to think that she's being reckless. But I trusted my hopping ability. And so when you will say like the final finisher is an incredible moment. I'm not a crier, but in 2022, when I came on that final finisher, partially probably because I was so sleep deprived from pacing, I just found myself like falling. So it's a really raw experience to be at that finish line at Heritage Square. And if you're around in Flagstaff, get out there, get on the streets and cheer for those runners because it shows you why this community is so special. So yeah, it was a few days after that, still injured, no idea when I'd be able to run again, that I got my name on the wait list for the 2020 race.
So Shelby, you were, I think, at least 3 months non-weight bearing. So basically, I mean, obviously you have the background, but essentially starting from scratch from a fitness perspective. Having done that myself with a couple of hip surgeries, I know just how difficult that can be, both in practice, like physically doing that, but also just the mental hurdles of building back from that and like constantly, being stuck in maybe a comparison trap, but whether it's what other people are doing or what you previously could have done yourself. I mean, you could do a whole episode on that alone. But how did you stay like mentally strong through that recovery process? Like, was there a pie in the sky goal that you were like aiming for the whole time, or was it more of a day by day process?
Yeah, it was tough. I had to redefine what progress looked like. And sometimes that meant being proud of just standing on one leg and going to the gym and getting really creative with kneeling deadlifts and weird around the world stuff with the kettlebell. I mean, we got really cool with the joint arm. And so that helped. And I was able to distract myself with work and really tried to give myself the same compassion I give to an injured friend. Also, shout out to Cats and Candace and Kathy and her husband for getting me through it. But yeah, it was 3 months non-weight bearing, total of 6 months with 0 running. And the first run back was a 5-minute walk jog. Like, it was weird. It felt really weird. There's a podcast that I did with Dreama Walton where that was the first time I had walked on trails and I don't know awkward or else. So yeah, it's so hard to not reflect on your previous self. I broke it during Black Canyon and I had gotten to that Black Canyon starting like feeling as chilling as I'd ever been. So the previous self that I was comparing myself to was a really fierce one. And so that was hard, but just in the process and just knew I needed to keep moving because stagnation is that.
Yeah, I'm also no stranger to starting from scratch. And I always admire people that are able to navigate, the process of returning. I'm so terrible at it. I just go into a spiral of emotional eating and I cut myself off from friends. It's bad. So I'm
They make you like weigh yourself every time you go to get an X-ray, and you're standing on a horse scale basically with crutches and a boot, and it's so hard to just every month see that number kind of increase the muscle and you have crutches and a boot on. It's just very mentally confusing.
Yeah, so maybe a related question is like one of the best things I think about this ultra space is the community around it. So in what ways were you supported by the community, as you were coming back from injury?
Yeah, it was a weird time because my husband just started race directing for Aravaipa, Colorado. So we had these dreams of me being able to go out and course mark and sweep and do all the fun running things. And then I was showing up to his race trying not to die ditches and grass, clutching to the, to but I think just like staying involved, creating, volunteering, and being around it reminded me that the sport's way more than racing. There's really something for everyone. So if you keep showing up, you can learn a lot, honestly, just from being an observer. And so I tried to have that mindset and not be jealous of like watching people do the thing that I love to do and I physically could not do it.
So, speaking of that community, you've built quite a team here that's going to support you this year at Cocodona 250. We had Alyssa Clark, who's been a guest of our podcast before. Awesome episode with Alyssa. Check it out if you are not a listener of Distance to Empty already. She reached out to us, let us know that you were running because you got in off the wait list, so we actually didn't even know you were running it. What does having that team around you this year mean to you, and how is that part of your strategy?
Yeah, I mean, this race isn't something that I want to do alone. I mean, could, and kudos to those of you that do. Drop backs are a wonderful thing. But I'm really trying to go as fast as I can. And so this team that I've assembled is my cheer squad with feet mixers, my spirit lifters, they'll be my brain at times. And I was really strategic in putting together a team that can work together on making sure that they feel supported. So for the first time, I actually got Airbnbs. So, they can sleep and shower. So yeah, that's part of it. I think making sure this year that my team is this group of people that all kind of bring their own skills that work together to the party. And with that, I have Melissa Clark. I have Mercedes Gaither, who I actually met on the live stream last year. First time meeting her, I was sitting down next to her to do I think it was a nighttime or the after dark live stream stand. So that was fun. She's trouble, but wonderful. I have my friend Tina, who's a race director herself, and then just a badass mom who, I think probably is going to be a couple quesadillas and making sure people are fed. My foot doctor's coming out. I partnered with the sock brand Cedas, and then of course my husband Jason will be there too. And my coach will be coming out. I did not even have a coach in 2021. So really just I can see them all in front of me now. It's just an incredible group of people all coming together in this common mission. And I feel really, really confident about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, a number of the people that we've interviewed, a theme has been like assembling these super crews that are fun and even, you know, inspired costumes and all this. So I'm really excited, you know, just to see the vibe of Cocodona this year. I think it's
Yeah,
going to be something else.
it will be.
So, you know, with your journey getting to the start line of Cocodona this year, you've really been open about it. So wondering, what are you really hoping that people following your journey are going to take away from your experience?
Yeah, I mean, healing isn't linear. You can start from zero again and still chase good things. I was worried about it. I think sometime around September, October. I think October was I did my first 10K back from running. I mean, not even a race, just ran a 10K on trails and was thinking, you know, counting the months. When is May? Will I really be able to get there? And my coach assured me that I would be able to. There's still plenty of time. And so, yeah, you can still chase that things even when you're starting from zero. And it's okay to be scared or slow or scrappy. It might look different than before, but as long as you keep showing up, there's power behind that.
So Shelby, going into the race this year with more experience than you had the first time, it's still a 250-mile journey from Black Canyon City to Flagstaff. I mean, I still get so scared going into these distances. Even this will be my 11th go at 200 plus. Like, what does your relationship with that fear look like for you? Is there anything you're scared of going in this year that maybe you weren't going into the first year because now you know better? Or are you not so secretly looking forward to those sort of like fears? Like, is there anything you're like excited to encounter out there?
Nah, I'm not very buddy playing. I mean, I think Fear and I will be running this thing together. It's obvious stuff. Failure, getting in your own head, those are things that you can fear. But I've done that before. I've failed before. I had a really rough go at the long trail fastest known time. And the 273-mile trail, I had to pull the trigger at mile 250. I know some crazy things happen when you get there. And I dug deeper than it. I mean, bird hypothermia, peeing yourself to stay warm, like insanity. It got a little dangerous, honestly, at the end. And I'm not afraid to go to that place again. And I really, it won't be bird hypothermia danger zone, but gotta have that crew that will pull me out of it if it does get flat rock. So I guess to answer your question, I'm not afraid of the raw version of myself, and ready to go hang out there.
Well, that sounds pretty intense. I feel like we should have a whole separate conversation about those stories.
It was, yeah. There's a YouTube video that captures some of it, but honestly, I found the SD card to the GoPro that had the footage of me dying in the hut where I eventually had to say that this tent was sober, and I'll be honest, I'm afraid to look at it. Like, it was really bad.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Well, so these last set of questions that we have, we've been asking everybody, and the first couple, hopefully you have great answers for since you're so familiar with Cocodona. So the first one is, what section of Cocodona are you most looking forward to?
I think there's two. One is Jerome. The descent into Jerome wrecked me 2021, so I had some unfinished business with those baby head walks. So that's going to be cool. Then the other one I'm excited for is the Fort Tuthill section. We've paced that twice now, once for Sarah McRae, once for Joe McConaughey. And when I ran, we were walking. I was low. So it's a beautiful section. It's very runnable. It's going to be weird this year because we're going to do it solo. No pacers are allowed in that segment. But I'm ready for that. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
What about the flip side of that? Which section are you most not looking forward to, most intimidated by, wish they would reroute?
I want to say no, and I'm excited for all of them, but I will say that the flip with Eldon is a little bit of a comfortable. I do love fire road, so the fire road climb to the top excites me, but the chunky descent down might not excite me that much.
I just passed through Flag a week and a half ago, and did the descent on relatively fresh legs, day after a rim to rim to rim. So not super fresh, but relatively fresh. And it is slow.
Yeah, it's just going to require patience. And I think we still have, maybe 3 models to the finish line once we get through that. So
Yeah.
there's still time to run.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to want to run. You're going to be so, you're going to miss running so much that you'll just want to run those final 3. All right. Shelby, what shoes are you going to start the race in?
I believe I'm going to start in the Terex Agravic 3s, and then possibly, if I'm feeling happy, maybe throw on the Terex Speeds and Speed Ultras for more runnable sections towards the end. It's a little bit of a TBD, but we'll have options.
And then what is one outcome of Cocodona 250 that's not tied to results or time or placement or anything like that would make you proud of yourself?
I really want to focus on running my own race and my best race, and also keep it together emotionally. I've been known to hype spike. If you look at the video they put out from the inaugural year, there's a few shots of me, and I looked at them and I was like, oh, I'm moving really well. And my husband, I was like, you're just really excited for the camera. So trying to stay cool and calm and steady throughout the race, I know it's going to take a bit end.
I'm definitely guilty of hype spiking myself.
Wow, it comes on and you just want to charge.
All right, Shelby, last question we have for you. I think this is not fair because you're one of the few recordings we've done where other episodes have aired, so you may be able to cheat on this, but we're going to ask it anyway. We asked our good friends over at ChatGPT how many steps it would take you to get from Black Canyon City to Flagstaff along the Cocodona 250 course. It gave us a range. What do you think that range is?
Yeah, so that was the one question that I actually did prepare for this call, and I did ask ChatGPT, and that's when it told me that I was tapering, and I was like, wow, here you go. It tells me that it's going to be about 513,742 steps and a few hundred flag stops to get Flagstaff.
I love it. That's the most pinpointed answer we've gotten so far. So now we'll have to go back and see how many steps you actually take and see how close we are to that guess. Awesome. Shelby, yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We're getting pretty close now. Cocodona 250 kicks off Monday, May 5th at 5 a.m. Pacific time. You'll be able to catch all the action live on the Mountain Outpost YouTube channel. Team over at Aravaipa Running will be bringing you around-the-clock coverage. Also on Cocodona 250 social channels, there will be behind-the-scenes coverage there, extra stuff, so don't forget to follow that as well. And if you enjoyed this series, Flagstaff Bound, it is brought to you by Peter and myself, Distance to Empty podcast. Leave us a review, follow us on Apple and or Spotify. We are churning out content for 200 milers every week. We'll have a Cocodona 250 crew call. We'll have a course preview coming out here before the race. So check us out. Give us some love. We appreciate you guys listening. And thanks. Good luck out there, Shelby. Look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.